Hello and welcome back to Wilsgala International, a fictional airport located in the Midlands of England. You join me for update 7 on this sunny Saturday morning in late February. Now there's much news to discuss and a very exciting announcement to be made, so without further ado, let's get right on into it. Starting off with the news, the main story this evening, it has been officially announced that FlyBe are to be returning to operations. In a statement given by the newly appointed CEO, the revived carrier has chosen Wilsgala International as an initial hub, as its geographical location is ideal for access to all corners of the United Kingdom. The announcement, made earlier this week, was met with enthusiasm from both the general public and the press, and with a date to return to service set for March the 22nd, it seems as though the wheels are moving quickly to get this much-loved British airline back into the skies. In addition to that, we have a further 2 new airlines joining WSI, June and Austrian, the additions of which continue to expand WSI's route network even further. With that said, let's begin the airport update and see what is occurring at Wilsgala International today. Starting off at the terminal then, we have this stunning Fokker 100 of Austrian, which, having begun service to the airport last week, has since been serving daily flights to Vienna, as well as a winter seasonal route to Innsbruck. This morning it can be seen boarding passengers and refuelling before departing for a return flight out to Innsbruck. Next to him, we have another new sight, this elegant A320 of the French low-cost carrier June, which arrived around 20 minutes ago from Marseille and will be turning around for Toulouse in the next hour. Now, June have begun operating to a number of the smaller cities in France, and we very much look forward to seeing many more routes introduced in the future from the French carrier. Moving on from that, we have this tiny Saab 340B of Logan Air, which is just shutting down its engines, having just landed in from Aberdeen. After a brief 40-minute turnaround, it's going to be leaving for the Scottish capital, Edinburgh. Turning the corner of the terminal, we have this Aer Lingus A320, currently taking on fuel and bags. It's going to be returning to Dublin at 5 minutes to 12 this morning. Now, Aer Lingus operate 2 types of aircraft into Wilsgala. We obviously have this larger Airbus A320, as well as the smaller ATR 72s for more regional services. And finally for the terminal, we have this intriguing Boeing 727-200 operating for British Airways. It's in the Welsh tail colours and arrived at about 9 AM this morning from London Heathrow. It's going to be serving its next flight out to the Channel Island of Jersey. Okay then, let's move on to the taxiways. Starting off over here by the hill, we have another regular for Wilsgala International, the bright and blue Fokker 70 of KLM, which is going to be returning to Amsterdam Schiphol, having arrived in this morning. Now, due to an increase in demand, this route has recently been increased to a twice daily round trip from a once daily service that it was last year. In front of him, and currently stationary, we have one of the largest aircraft in regular operation at Wilsgala International, and it is this beautiful Iceland Air 757-200, which is currently waiting for the taxiway ahead to be clear so that it can head out to the runway, hopefully for an on-time departure out to Reykjavik. On the other taxiway, we have this Airbus A321neo of EasyJet, which, having arrived in from Malta yesterday evening and overnighted, is going to be flying down to Tenerife this morning, and hopefully, all going well, is going to be returning back here later this evening. So then, the final aircraft on the taxiway is a really interesting one. It is this Dash 8 Q400, registered as Golf Echo X-Ray Tango Alpha. It is an ex-FlyBe Dash 8 Q400 in the stripped down white colours. Now, the rumour is that when FlyBe went into administration last time, this aircraft was supposedly taken back to Canada to be operated by WestJet. However, in the last couple of weeks, having been repurchased for operation by the new FlyBe, It's been re-registered to the UK and flown back from Ontario via Halifax, Reykjavik and finally Prestwick. Now that is where it has arrived in from this morning, and as you can see now it's being escorted to its gate by a ground service vehicle, where the ground team are going to very carefully park it in the midst of all of the other FlyBe aircraft, which we will get onto in just a minute. Before we get onto those, however, we do indeed have another much more familiar sight on the remote apron today. Here we have this West Atlantic 737-800 BCF, which arrived at about 6:30 AM this morning from Bergen in Norway. As you can see, she's now being reloaded with a fresh load of cargo, and it'll be leaving shortly for Krakow at around noon. So then I will keep you waiting no longer. Let's take a look at the star event of today's update. All of these FlyBe aircraft sitting here on the remote stand. Now I think it only makes sense that we start off with the aircraft next to the West Atlantic, and that is this Embraer ERJ 170, which arrived in about 11 days ago, having been purchased, and it flew in from St Athan in the south of Wales where it was being preserved, and it'll of course be operating for FlyBe out of Wilsgala International going forward. I'd imagine on probably slightly longer routes, possibly down to sort of the north of France, maybe Paris, maybe Amsterdam, those sorts of length routes. Next to that one, we have another Bombardier Dash 8 Q400. This time it's in the newer FlyBe colours, and this one also came over from Canada, doing the same route as the other Dash 8, only doing it a couple of days earlier, just to make the logistics a little bit easier. Next to the Dash 8 we have the longer Embraer 195. It's in the Welcome to Yorkshire colours. Now this one actually stayed in the United Kingdom when FlyBe went bust last time, and it was being operated by Eastern Airways for a time, and of course has now been sold back to FlyBe and will be taking up the majority of the longer haul routes from WSI for FlyBe. Finally then, we have this stunning BAE 146, which, as we discussed in the last airport update, was the first aircraft to arrive and was flown back from Teruel, Spain a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, it's actually been moved to a different spot on the apron since the last update, and that is really in order to fit more aircraft in the pretty tight space, as of course we do have quite a lot of new FlyBe aircraft coming in now that the airline are returning. Alright then, so that is it for another airport update. Now, I think this was a pretty good one. I mean, obviously, I've finally been able to use some of the FlyBe models that I've been compiling over the last year or so. Yeah, pretty big story point today. I really hope I did it justice. Yeah, it's going to be a big adjustment getting FlyBe actually here. I'm very used to having these models and not being able to put them in videos, and so my actual usable fleet size for WSI is going to be going up quite a lot once I start operating FlyBe out of here. So yeah, I really do hope that you've enjoyed it. I would also like to say a huge thank you for 250 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. It makes an enormous difference, you know, going forward for my channel, and I am really hoping to potentially get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you would like to help me get there, if you aren't already subscribed and you are a regular of the channel, then please do consider subscribing, because it really does help me out, and I'm so appreciative to you guys who not only subscribe but also leave your kind words down in the comment section below. It really does motivate me to make more videos and, you know, improve my quality every time. So I really am grateful to all of you guys out there. Thank you so much for getting in touch. I've had a number of DMs in the last couple of weeks about the airports and about me, and just saying thank you, so I'm really very appreciative. Yeah, this airport update is actually a week early. Some of you guys might have noticed. I'm sort of trying to do them on a monthly basis. But yes, this is a week early because we're actually moving house next week. So WSI, I'm going to sort of sort of record in advance a model review for next week so that I don't get behind on videos. But essentially, after I'm finished filming that, then essentially WSI is going to be sort of, you know, being taken down and then eventually being moved to the new house. And I am going to be making a vlog style video about that and about the move. So potentially you guys might see that in the channel, up on the channel, probably in the next 2 weeks. It won't be next week because we'll still be moving. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. Please do leave any suggestions, comments, routes, thoughts, whatever down in the comment section below. I really do enjoy talking to you guys. But for now, that's all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.